Hello, this is Jerry Morton. Welcome to my Finding My Way podcast. This is podcast number 3, titled Missing Money. Missing Money is a story from my adolescent years. The collection of stories I have written and am reading to you cover many subcultures in our country that I have interacted with from childhood to my adult and senior years. A more extensive introduction to the Finding My Way stories takes place in the beginning of podcast 1. Regardless of which podcast you are listening to, you will find the story both entertaining and worthy of your reflective thoughts concerning its contents. The stories, as a collection, provide insights into a span of time that has played a role in shaping American culture and influencing its future. The stories provide you with a sense of admiration for the culture's collective courage and our country's commitment to justice and its optimistic willingness to address new challenges. Missing money. It was so nerve-wracking to apply for a job. I hadn't applied for many. The last 2 summers I'd been a camp counselor for a Boy Scout summer camp in Kenosha, Wisconsin. In the middle of my sophomore year of high school, my family moved from outside Racine, Wisconsin, to a suburb of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I really liked being a camp counselor. However, the travel expenses of returning to Kenosha and then coming back to Pittsburgh made the adventure out of reach. The pay I would receive was about the same as the cost of the traveling involved. That's why I was applying for a job that spring of 1959. I could use the job now, but I really wanted to set things up for a summer job. My hope was to land one with the poultry store. Jim, a classmate, had a job with Sheets Poultry. He liked it, and it paid $1 an hour. That was great money for a junior in high school about to become a senior in 1959. Of course, I'd have to quit the job when school started in the fall. Maybe even a little earlier in the summer when football practice started in earnest. "We don't usually consider someone as young as you," the director of the YMCA branch for our Pittsburgh borough stated matter-of-factly. "I understand that. I believe I was the youngest camp counselor to be in charge of a complete section of campers. It was called Pioneer Village. It was isolated from the other camping areas. I had 2 assistant counselors with me. There were around 50 or 60 campers and their adult leaders in the cabins every 2-week cycle. I can give you the professional Boy Scout camp director's phone number if you want. He will give me a good reference." "That's okay. I'm going to hire you. I think you'll do a good job. You'll work on Saturdays. I'll have you assist Ernie in the exercise room and assist Mike in the recreational area and maybe assist at the Saturday night dance. Be here next Saturday at 8 a.m. Someone will be here to tell you what to do." That first Saturday was confusing. First of all, the recreational room director wasn't scheduled to come to work until 9 a.m. Ernie, the exercise area director, started his Saturday schedule at 7 a.m. He didn't know anyone had been assigned to assist him on Saturdays. My arrival was a surprise to him. He said he'd been asking for assistance on Saturdays for several months. He seemed to appreciate that I was there. Ernie was a middle-aged man of phenomenal strength. He was not as tall as I was, but his body was huge. It was all conditioned muscle. His arms had to be as big around as my thighs were, if not larger. Not an ounce of fat seemed to be squeezed between those developed strands of muscle. By 8:30 that morning, the weight room was almost full. Barbells were clanking, men were grunting, and Ernie was providing words of encouragement, along with helpful hints for proper conditioning. I was sitting in the cage towel room, handling the electronic door release. It allowed people into the exercise area once they flashed me the proper ID. Then I'd press the electronic button that caused a magnet in the metal mesh door to release the lock. Ernie also had me be responsible for handing out towels to those who wanted them. The task of periodically collecting the towels left on the benches by those who didn't put them in the rewash bin was a natural part of my keeping the area neat. Ernie always helped to pick up the towels when he was walking through the area. He was like that. He just naturally did things to make my work a little easier. I enjoyed talking to him, as did others. He always seemed interested in what I was doing in school or with my friends. It was nice to have a real adult to talk to that wasn't a member of your family. All of the weightlifters clearly valued Ernie. They would ask him for tips on how to stay in good condition and things like that. I guess that anyone who knew Ernie simply had nothing but respect for him. I looked forward to the Saturdays at the Y because I got to spend time with Ernie. Around noon, the exercise room would be pretty clear of participants. Ernie would release me to go upstairs and help out in the recreation room. He'd have me check in with him every once in a while during the afternoons to see if there were any other cleaning up to do. Usually there weren't. Ernie had already taken care of whatever had to be done. The guy in charge of the recreation room was not all that much older than I was. He seemed to be more interested in watching a new TV show that came on around noon than in selling candy or keeping the place neat. I never watched television on Saturdays at home. In the morning, there were the weekly chores to complete. The afternoons were for being out of the house doing fun things. The evenings were for gathering at someone's house with your dates and watching the so-called adult western, Paladin. All of us would stop the Saturday night party activities to watch Paladin. Well, all of us guys, and some of the girls watched it. The Have Gun Will Travel show was just a half hour long. It was a great half hour in our minds. The Recreation Room guys' noontime show was hosted by some new DJ called Dick Clark. He played the popular rock and roll music of the day, and teenagers danced to the music. It was out of Philadelphia. There were some really pretty girls on the dance floor. All of the dancers were really good. It was hard to understand how Philadelphia could produce so many beautiful girls and have so many excellent dancers when our Pittsburgh kids, my friends and classmates, were just plain old nice people. Oh, we had some pretty girls, all right, but not all of them were super pretty. And most of us were just getting by on the dance floor. There was no doubt about it. Philadelphia was the place to be if you were a teenager. When the recreation room guy wanted to take a break, he would have me manage the candy store. It was a simple enough task. Everyone knew the price of candy. A candy bar was 5 cents. You took the nickel and let the buyer keep the candy bar. My primary task was to assist Ernie, so I didn't stay long in the rec room at any one time. After I had worked for the Y a couple of Saturdays, the bookkeeper kept asking me to come to her office. She wanted me to work with her on the Saturday nights when the Y held its dance night. I would get paid the same hourly rate for working during the day. That was really nice. I could use the money. It was my primary source for having money to spend on recreational activities. The bookkeeper spent most of that first dance night showing me how to take the money for each ticket and how to keep track of the ticket numbers so that we would know exactly how much money we should have taken in. Then there was the task of counting the total amount of money at the end of the evening and recording both the money and the ticket numbers to prove that the money collected matched the number of tickets sold. Once that had been done, I was instructed to slip the money, the ticket stubs, and the records through the mail slot in her office door. When she would unlock the office door on Monday morning, she would have the money and the records. That was it. After the first night of instruction, I was in charge of the finances for dance night from then on. My friends were impressed with seeing me at the dance. I was a person of importance. I liked that. After several dance nights, Saturday nights, of my fulfilling these obligations, the bookkeeper sent word through Ernie that she wanted to see me in her office. "Sit down," she said from behind her desk. "I don't want you to be concerned about this. It has been handled. You were accused of stealing money from the dance night revenues. I thought you ought to know." I was in a state of shock. How could this be true? What? No, I didn't. Now, calm down. I took care of it. Everyone knows you didn't take the money. The board of directors called me in to meet with them. They had discovered that money was missing from the dance night fund. The director was quite upset about this. At the time, he seemed to be surprised and angry. He declared that you must have been the thief as my bookkeeping records were clearly beyond reproach. I told them that you kept impeccable records. I checked your records every Monday morning, and they were 100% accurate. You were totally honest. Anyway, they continued investigating. The director of the Y had stolen the money. You didn't. We were able to prove it. He's been fired. They're looking for a new director. Thank you for standing up for me. It was so shattering to have been accused of stealing. I prided myself on being honest, and to be accused of something like this was simply unimaginable. After the meeting, I went to talk to Ernie about it. My eyes watered over as I told him I needed his support, and he gave it to me. I felt better. "Hey, you could be the new director. You'd be great." "They'll not hire me. I've gone as high in the Y as I'll go." "That's not true. You'll get it. I know you will." "I'm black. They'll not appoint me. That's just the way it is." They hired a new director. I never met him. Sheets Poultry had an opening for a chicken cutter at the store they had just opened in a shopping mall. It was their second store. I'd work 20 hours a week at $1 an hour. That was a great paying job.